All right, guys. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Words with Al. Yes, it's been a while. I do have a lot of things to do now, and so I haven't been really able to focus so much on this. And plus, that this work has become quite difficult, as you understand, because the more languages groups of people learn how to speak, the more knowledge they adopt from that specific language. Okay. So we've established that languages, each language represents a unique psyche, a set of experiences, accumulated experiences that formed the way it perceives and understands existence. Okay, so every language is a reality in itself. Okay, because it has a load, it has a historical load, it has a way of perceiving something which explains the number of words, for instance, of one phenomena, whilst another one does not. So the Sami people have many words for snow. The Norwegian do not. We only have one word for snow, and the reason for that is because we didn't. Snow was not such a big part of our lives as much as it was for the Sami people, and and how it affected their whole process of or their living conditions, because how the snow was, the feel of the snow, if it was fresh snow, old snow, a porous snow, a firm snow, whether the humidity was very high or low, etc. All these factors that will play into the different variances of snow, right? But so in essence, what I'm saying is that every language is a window of its own. It's a reality of its own. It's a knowledge. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of perceiving, grasping, understanding something. And the more languages you know, the more you see, the more you understand, the more you can compare and contrast, and well, see, understand. And yes, so that's how that goes. Now, to link everything back now to where we or how we began this journey, which was, well, the language itself. What we want to know is, how did languages develop? How did they emerge? Where did they emerge? Where did they emerge? And what was leading to this divergence in development? Okay, so very tough, very tough questions, very deep, in delicate questions that are not easily answered. This is not easily answered, which is kind of hindering my work here as well. It is hindering my work, but has also proved everything that I've said so far. It has proved it. So all my work will one day be proved, but it will take a long time till it reaches consensus, till it reaches mainstream science. And I will have to take out some of my videos just to, well, actually, I don't want to take out any of my videos because I'm not flawless, right? I'm not saying that I'm perfect and that I have every answer. What I'm saying is that I'm discovering this, and it seems as though I've been the first one to discover this. So, which makes everything very, well, not so very credible. It makes everything very credible if you're the only one who knows this. But now I'm not, because you are here too, and you have also participated, and now you too know what I'm speaking about. Okay. So I've asked Grok. Now I've tried every language model there is, okay? I've tried everyone, and we can all get now these same answers. So I know that the language models are not perfect yet. So to further strengthen everything, we need to do this work manually. We need to actually go and do it manually, word for word, and language for language. Yes, because our language models, our AIs, are not perfect yet, and then they're being updated and changed, and features are being added and removed as we speak. Yes. So they are not fully reliable, right? But still, they contain that knowledge, that information is there. It's still out there. We just need to look, find, bring back, compare and contrast, see if it has any resemblance or relatedness. Yes, that's it. Okay. So I've asked you to make a timeline of morphology and grammar development in major linguistic families. Here we have a timeline, okay? So we see now historical milestones in the development of morphology and grammar across the discussed language families. Yes, yes, yes. So all our languages, okay? All of them. So what we see here is now the first, okay? 16 to 10,000 BC, but we know that we've spoken for at least 100,000 years. At least, okay? So that 100,000 years, we have spoken. Their words existed back then as well, that most likely exist today. They are just being used in, well, not everywhere, most likely, and they have been refined and changed so that tracing back its roots has been a bit difficult, but it isn't anymore. Not really, because now we've all connected. We are all getting more and more connected, thankfully. But what we see here is the emergence of the Proto-Afro-Asiatic. Okay, now what we're seeing is the ancestors of the Proto-Afro-Asiatic family is spoken near the Horn of Africa or Sahara region during the Mesolithic period. It features non-concatenative morphology with triliteral roots, remember? So the Semitic one. And the fusional element like gender marking, feminine, T for feminine, and aspectual verbs. Grammar includes verb subject order in some branches and prefix conjugation for second person. This sets up the foundation for the Semitic root and pattern system. Okay. Further on, now we have something else arising. That is the Proto-Niger-Congo with agglutinative morphology, including noun class prefixes and verbal extensions. Yes. Grammar is SVO, subject, verb, object, just like us. Dominant with tone and vowel harmony influencing word formation. This period marks the family's early diversity, later spreading via migrations. Yes. Now then we have Proto-Uralic coming in. Proto-Uralic emerges in the Ural-Volga region, characterized by agglutinative morphology with 6 basic cases, right? No gender, possessive suffixes, and vowel harmony. Grammar features SOV order, subject, object, verb, order, postpositions, and negative verbs. Okay, sure. This proto-stage sets up case proliferation in the sentence like Finnish that has up to 15 cases. Yes, yes. And then comes the Proto-Sino-Tibetan divergence, where we see now that the Proto-Sino-Tibetan originates in the Yellow River Basin with minimal morphology in early stages, isolating tendencies in Sinitic branches and more agglutinative features in Tibeto-Burman. It seems as though the Tibeto-Burman developed linguistically faster than the Sino-Tibetan people. Okay, so the Sinitic, the Chinese, in other words, the Chinese, although they belong to the same family, the Sino-Tibetan, the Tibeto-Burman or Burmese developed more than purely the Sino-Tibetan one. Okay. And now at 6, here we have the Proto-Indo-European unity and initial splits. PIE is spoken in the Pontic-Caspian Sea and so on and so forth. Yes, we know now. But what we're seeing is the development, right? And different stages. I was going to go through the whole grammar or the psychology of the grammar, and I should probably do that because it is quite interesting and it does tell us quite a lot. And it's very strange that nobody has actually looked at it that way, because it is showing us perception and order and importance and priority in how we conceptualize an idea and want to convey it, so that even our priority or what we consider to be the most important thing in that idea is conveyed. Okay. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just showing you now this development. This is very easily. You can do this too. Okay, you can go through this, but I'm going to go through like the main ideas here, like the essence, like what is the essence of these developments. Okay, what is happening here underneath? What is happening in our mind? Okay. And yes, we have some charts here. It made some better one earlier, but then I lost them, unfortunately. But I obviously can always make them again, okay? But yes, so and now I asked it to place Albanian. Where does it, I asked it, where would you place Albanian in this timeline? And it says that it will place it somewhere spoken around Albanian descent from Proto-Indo-European, spoken around, yes, which was highly fusional with 8 cases, 3 genders, and complex verb conjugation. Yes, Albanian's direct ancestors, Proto-Albanian, is less clearly defined. Yes, because there was no really Proto-Albanian. These proto words are just made up. We need to stop it. There are very many made up words we make here just to not politicize this development. And I do understand it because it can give fuel to racists out there who would be like, oh, but we develop more, we're more intelligent than you guys, and so on and so forth. But that, although that might be true historically, that does not mean that is the final say in terms of what is potential in each man and woman. Okay, so that anyone, any man and woman, can truly learn everything. Truly, sure, there can be physical limitations. Yes, obviously, you can miss an arm, you can be short or very tall, or you can be ill. So there will be limitations that can hinder you to learn everything, obviously. But the potential to learn it is there. Someone has had a head start because they've been in a civilization for a very long time and been part of all the different stages of development that mankind has been through. Thus, they already have a more readily mind. They have a brain that has evolved, been through many stages of conceptualization and understanding, thus, are able to conceive an idea faster. Okay. Okay. Yes, we go back here now because it's trying to put it somewhere because it knows that this is when we hear from it, right? Very, very late, right? But we have something else that will make it fit into a broader sense or my theory, or what I'm proposing. Yes. Okay, so we know that it will put the Albanian language in the wrong foot, right? Because it does not know how these languages developed and how they are related. Because remember that these languages are related. They really are. A lot of them. Not all words, but very many of them. Because what we'll see is that these words are found everywhere. We've all heard of them, used them, and these would later add on to the vocabulary of each group, creating further fundaments or the fundament for new words. Yes. Okay, so timeline how morphology and grammar shaped human cognition. Okay, so what we see here is that the Proto-Afro-Asiatic emergence, non-concatenative morphology. Okay, we know this now. We've gone through it. Okay, so the cognitive impact, root pattern system encourage abstract categorization. For instance, grouping related concepts, right? So r is something that is moving, spinning, rolling. It is also falling. It is also regulating. It is also rays, light, and the sun. It is very many things. Okay, so what we see here is that we have an idea, the sun. The sun is an idea, and now from the sun we can group very many new words and new ideas because the sun is a circle. It comes and goes. It is time. It is cycle. It is rolling. It is a ring. It is very many R words. Okay. So now we got that there. Enhancing semantic flexibility. Yes, sure. This came later. The flexibility and everything else came a bit later. But remember that we've spoken for 100,000 years. Yeah, much, much longer. And then came the Proto-Niger-Congo. Yes, yes. Now we see the first agglutinative morphology with noun classes. Yes. And then we see these further on and on. And I'm going to show you also, right, I'm going to show you also the grammar, the photo that I made, and how it kind of like shows us everything in terms of what we, yeah, as I said, what we prioritize. Yes. Yes. Okay. But what we're seeing now is that these languages are super old. Okay, they are very, very old, and they're connected in different ways and forms. And if we strip them, which is a very difficult thing to do whilst maintaining its skeleton, kind of, because people began speaking more languages. Remember, that's all it took. It only took you, an outsider, to learn my language to kind of like get an impasse into that world and all that knowledge it contained. Right? Yes, yes, that's what it did. That's what it did. Okay. So that now if I then knew two languages, I could use that knowledge from that one language and develop my own language that was not developed. Right? So see, now we see logic spreading across languages, across language groups. Now, logic is what is kind of connecting us. Well, I mean, it had to in the beginning either way, right? Because we had to become logical or be logical and agree on what is logical. Okay, yes, yes. What we see, I've tried to do a lot of things, okay? I've tried to do very, very many things here. And it is giving me, I'm trying to make it explain a bit more to explain it in terms of this development and why we would find words like al, el, il, and chi, cha, che, and ra, re, ri, ru, everywhere. Everywhere with the same semantics and pretty much the same word with minor shifts. Minor shifts in how it is written or how it is pronounced. Yes, or the phonetical laws, right? That the R becomes an L, that the P becomes an F, that the K becomes an H or an H becomes a K, and then the Ch becomes a K as well, or a J. So there are these laws that we follow. Yes, yes. But now I have asked it to actually look at how, okay, yes, because, well, in this one, I tried to ask it, well, I gave it just, we see that the Albanian language, morphology and grammar is closer to the Afro-Asiatic languages prior to the development of the triliteral root system, making it act as a bridge between the old and the developing new Indo-European languages. Sorry. The Albanian language has preserved both the concatenation and non-concatenation systems, indicating a split between the groups. Yes, yes. And then it goes on. It is checking it, and sure, it is finding it, but then obviously this split happened very early on, so it wouldn't be able to trace it. And plus now, with the development that has happened in the modern times, it will definitely be very difficult to trace it. So we can only trace a few words. But obviously that would make sense that we will only have a few words the further back in time we go. Okay. But now I asked it, so now it is putting it again. And now it is putting it there, 3 to 1000 BCE, Indo-European Albanian, Proto-Albanian diverges, okay? Something like that. It is trying something is happening here. But it has more. So it has this one, and then it has this one again. Okay, so now we see two key points. Albania at two key points. Yes, because remember that development happens in stages and can happen from two different sources. So that the logic from the Middle East and the logic from the Europeans could both be implemented into a language, causing a distinct development, but that didn't happen all at the same time, but happened in stages and during specific times of contact. Yes, okay, sure. Now this is the revised timeline. And now I asked it, this aligns, well, I didn't ask it, I told it. This aligns also with the E-V13, as it is found highest in the Albanian-speaking population, indicating them as the closest one with the highest Proto-Afro-Asiatic descent. You just follow the blood now. Follow the blood, follow the genes, and we will see that Albanian people, together with the Greeks, the ones with the highest E-V13, are the ones who moved to Europe earliest on. Because E-V13 is among the oldest genes. It is older than all the other genes that exist in Europe. Yes, because all the older ones exist in Africa. A is the oldest, and then is B, and then comes B, and then comes C, and then D, and then E. Right. Yes. So what we can do is we can just now follow these letters, really, and follow them to see who came after them. All those who came after them had words from this group. Yeah. It's very strange. I get it. It's very difficult to believe in. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to go and check this by yourself. Go through everything that I say. Be critical of everything all the time. Where I'm not here to profess. I'm not here to tell you. I'm here to share these findings and, well, discover what our journey was together. Okay, so your hypothesis posits that Albanian linguistic morphology and grammar, which is suggested to resemble early Afro-Asiatic systems before the triliteral root development, may align with the genetic evidence, specifically the high prevalence of E-V13 Y-chromosome haplogroup in Albanian-speaking populations. Yes, this suggests that the Albanians could have had a significant genetic connection to population with Proto-Afro-Asiatic ancestry, positioning them as a bridge between ancient Afro-Asiatic-like linguistic systems and Indo-European languages, both linguistically and genetically. Yes. Below, I'll explore this idea by integrating linguistic and... Okay, sure. Now it's going to tell us how it is doing this. Yes, so Albanian morphology combines concatenative, affix-based, like most IE languages, and non-concatenative stem vowel changes reminiscent of early Afro-Asiatic systems before triliteral roots. Yes, because remember that the Arabs and the Hebrew people continued on developing. Yes, remember that they developed religion. We did not. We had gods, we had ideas, we had knowledge, but we did not have absolute. We did not find or discover or realize the absolute. The Semitic people did. Yes, they did, because of their mind. Okay, so this duality suggests Albanian may preserve archaic features from a Proto-Indo-European stage. Yes, obviously it does, because that is how this development went. It went in stages, and not everywhere, and not everyone, and not all at the same time. Okay. So its high frequency in Albania suggests a significant genetic contribution from populations carrying E1B1B. Okay, so now possibly linked to Neolithic farmers or early migrations from Near East Anatolia to the Balkans. Yes. Well, here it's saying that particularly among, so this big, the E-V13 haplogroup, which is particularly big in Albanian-speaking populations, up to 40 to 45% in many of them, in Kosovo, specifically in Kosovo, is associated with Neolithic and Bronze Age migrations, okay? So that it originated in Africa 40 to 50,000 years ago and is common in Afro-Asiatic-speaking populations, Berbers, Somalis, suggesting a possible link to ancient populations in the Horn of Africa and North Africa. Yes, yes. Yes, while wannabe is widespread in Afro-Asiatic regions, E-V13 specifically arose in Europe 4000 BCE, likely in the Balkans, indicating a local differentiation rather than direct Afro-Asiatic descent. However, the broader E1b lineage supports a shared ancestry with populations that may have spoken early Afro-Asiatic languages. Yes, this is obviously descent, but through a long time. So a local differentiation happened in Europe, but it also happened prior to Europe. But now we're seeing that a local differentiation is happening because either of conquest or wars or famine or something leading to these groups becoming more isolated and protectionistic. Now they don't want to mix and tricks. And probably because they didn't want to die, right? They didn't want to be killed or subjugated. Okay, so the presence linguistic genetic link, the presence of E-V13 Albanians could correlate with linguistic retention. Yes, yes, it could. But what we're seeing is really that these people were all linked at different stages and different times and different regions during our development. But that this would shift and go back and forth according to where knowledge was, where and power was, and money and resources and leaders, intelligent leaders, because they will be the ones who begin this development. Yes. Okay. Yes. Right. Okay. Now it's making another one. See, now it has revised the narrative timeline. As you can see, now it's Afro-Asiatic, sure, and then Niger-Congo, and then Uralic, and then Sino-Tibetan, and then Indo-European, and then Albanian. But it's giving them pretty much the same times here. Yeah. Pre-Proto-Albanian substrate forms in the Balkans, with possibly contributing Afro-Asiatic-like morphology by literal roots, stem changes, along with early IE or EI fusional traits. IE, that's it, sorry. Okay. And then we have the other ones, and then we have another one here coming in. Now it is becoming more and more fusional. It is still non-concatenative, and still resembling the pre-triliteral Afro-Asiatic systems. Yes. But something is happening here. Now we're getting a change. A change is happening here. Cognitive flexibility from dual morphology. Concatenative affixes linearize event processing. Non-cognitive roots enhance abstract categorization, bridging Indo-European and Afro-Asiatic cognition. Yes. And then now it is showing a really fusional analytical grammar. Now we become a proper Romance Germanic shift. Okay, it has become a different analytical grammar, speeds processing in trade hubs, Albanians articles, and mixed morphology, enhanced referent tracking and cognitive flexibility. Yes. Now it has both of them. Yes, this time I've emphasized Albanian at 3 points. A speculative pre-proto-substrate, yes. Proto-Albanian divergence, yes. And first records, yes. All of this is speculation, but it really isn't, because we can follow the genetics and languages, because they will tie up. They will. We don't make words that easily. We change words and we refine them, but we don't really change them. Okay, that was it for now. I think I'm going to cut it here because there's a lot of information there and I need to figure it out how to present this, as I need to tie it all up. But yes, so that was another episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me, and have a good day or evening wherever you are.